What's going on, guys? FadeitLuie here, bringing guys a brand new video. We're gonna be doing a mid-fade on my boy, so stay tuned. As you can see, it's a pretty big transformation. He usually gets a pushback, but right now we're gonna knock everything down to a 4 guard all the way closed and make sure everything's nice and even. Now that we're done debulking the top, we can move on to our gold FX and create our first guideline. We're gonna make sure we contour this guideline to the head shape so that the fade can flow better. You also want to make sure you don't press too hard with the blade because you don't want to make the line too harsh. Don't be afraid to shut the skin with your opposite hands to give you more space to either bald out or blend. Now that we're done balding them out, we can move on to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. You want to make this guideline around 1 inch thick so you can spread the blend. Now that we're done setting in that guideline, we're going to slowly close the lever midway and all the way close and attack that initial guideline. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we can move on to our 1 guard all the way open and create our third guideline. As you guys can see, we're using the comb to feed the hair into the clipper. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you guys want to show some extra support, you can go ahead and leave a super thanks down below or follow my Instagram. Remember, we're using our 1 guard and our lever to soften up that line and get ready for the half guard. Now that the line is soft enough, we're moving on to our half guard and we're going to use its lever and its corners to remove the line completely. Now that we're done with the lower guards, we're moving on to our 2 guard all the way open and we're creating our 4th guideline. Remember, we're going to use this same guard and its lever to soften up this line and get ready for the 1.5 guard. As you guys can see, now I'm switching over to my 1.5 guard and I'm trying to erase the line completely using its corners and its lever. Sometimes after using the 1.5 guard, there's still a faint line, so going back to your 1 guard all the way open and using its corners would definitely help. Now we're moving on to our 3 guard all the way open, and we're going to go ahead and create our 5th guideline and begin to debulk the parietal ridge. This is going to help us create our silhouette and make sure everything's nice and neat. Now I'm moving on to my clipper over comb method, and I'm using my horizontal strokes to debulk and make sure the parietal ridge is smooth. Now I'm starting to use vertical strokes to make sure the blend is nice and clean. As you can see, I'm picking up the hair with the comb and I'm cutting it with my cutting blade at an angle. It's always best to add detail with either your half guard or your 1.5 guard. Those are the guards that blend between the guards. Now that we're done with the sides, we can move on to the back, and we're going to start off with our no guard all the way open, creating our 2nd guideline. We are right underneath the occipital bone, so you want to make sure you spend more time here and detail as much as possible. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we can move on to our 1 guard all the way open and create our 3rd guideline. Now we're right on top of the occipital bone, so you want to be very careful here and detail as much as possible, and make sure you erase all the dark spots. Now that we're done softening up the line with the 1 guard and its lever, we can move on to the half guard and use its corners and its lever to erase the line completely. Now that we're done with our lower guards, we can move on to our 2 guard all the way open and create our 4th guideline. This guideline is going to help us prepare for the 1.5 guard. Now that we're done softening up the line, we're going to move on to our 1.5 guard and erase the line completely using its corners and its lever. Now we're moving on to our 3 guard all the way open, and we're creating our 5th guideline, which is right on top of our 2 guard all the way open. This is going to help us clean up the ridge and blend into the top. Now I'm using the same guard I debulked the top to debulk the top and make sure it's nice and even. Before we begin to line him up, I'm going to debulk the hairline with my clippable comb method. Now that we're done removing the excess hair, we can start off with our gold FX right in the middle and work our way to the sides. I always make sure I go slow enough that the hair feeds into the teeth of the trimmer, because if not, then the hair's going to shift and then you won't line them up properly. Before I'm done lining him up, I'm going back to the fade and I'm detailing as much as possible. Moving on to the C cup, we're going to start off at the bottom, we'll work our way to the top arch, and we're also going to go slow enough that the hair feeds into the teeth of the trimmer. Now we're going to repeat the same steps on the other side, and we're going to make sure we keep the corners as natural as possible. We don't want to take the vertical bars too deep in. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you guys want to show some extra support, you can go ahead and leave a super thanks down below or follow my Instagram. Now that we're done with our C cups, we can move on to the sideburns, and I started off with my no guard all the way open, slightly closing the lever, attacking that initial guideline. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we can move on to our 1 guard all the way open and create our 3rd guideline. Now I'm moving on to the back of the beard, and I'm using my Goat FX to make it as crispy as possible. Make sure to go slow that the hair feeds into the teeth of the trimmer. What's going on, guys? FadeitLuie here, bringing guys a brand new video. We're gonna be doing a high fade on my guys, so stay tuned. We're starting off with our Goat FX, and we're creating our first guideline as high as possible without going too high because we want to leave enough room to blend. Don't be afraid to use your opposite hand to give you more space to either bald out or blend. Make sure to keep the trimmer flat. You don't want to feed the teeth of the trimmer into his pores. Now that we're done balding them out, we're going to go ahead and use our foil shaver to remove the stubble. When you're removing the stubble with your foil shavers, you want to flick out about 1 centimeter away from your bald line. If you meet the bald line, it's going to be harder to take out that bald line. Also, going with the grain with the foil shaver will help you blend in that initial guideline. If you guys are enjoying the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you guys want to show the channel some extra support, go ahead and leave a super thanks down below, or go ahead and follow my Instagram. Thank you. Now that we're done balding them out and removing all the stubble, we're going to go ahead and move on to our 1A blade and debulk the top. Now that everything's nice and even on top, we can move on to our OA blade and create our second guideline. You want to make this guideline around 1 inch thick so you can spread the blend. This blade is equivalent to our no guard all the way open. Now that we're done setting in that guideline, we can move on to our 4-op blade. This is equivalent to using our lever around a notch up from being all the way closed. Moving on to our 3/0 blade, this is going to be equivalent to our lever plate with our no guard all the way closed, midway, and all the way open. Now we're moving on to our 3/0 blade, and this is going to help us blend into our no guard all the way open, which is equivalent to our OA blade. Now we can move on to our 1 blade, which is equivalent to our 1 guard all the way closed. Remember, we did a 1A blade on top, so that's equivalent to a 1 guard all the way open. Moving on to the back, I'm using my 3/0 and I'm going to flick out as much as possible and attack that initial guideline. Now I'm moving on to our OA blade, which is equivalent to our no guard all the way open. We're also using the 1 blade, which is equivalent to our 1 blade all the way closed. Now that we're done running over the top, we're going to make sure we apply some oil sheen just so that we can take away the dryness. Now that we're done detailing the fade, we can move on to our Gold FX and begin to line him up. I always like starting off at the middle and working my way to the sides, especially when I'm using my Gold FX due to the longer blade. You always want to make sure you go slow enough that the hair feeds into the teeth of the trimmer, because if not, then the hair is going to shift and you won't line them up properly. So definitely pay attention to that. Always make sure to take your time near the lining. This is a very important part. Moving on to our Turkish razor and Derby premium blades, we're gonna make them as crispy as possible. But before we do that, we're gonna apply some shave gel so that the razor could glide better. Now that we got the razor and the blade, we're going to stretch the skin as much as possible with the opposite hand and keep the razor at a 45-degree angle. This lowers the likelihood of you cutting someone. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you guys want to show the channel some extra support, go ahead and leave the super things down below or go ahead and follow my Instagram. Thank you.